friends, we have learned a lot of cool things about the human body so far. Before we move on to our next knowledge lesson, I want to pause and review some of the things we've already talked about. The first thing I want to talk to you about is our 5 senses. Do you remember what those 5 senses are? What do you think? What am I doing right now? Touching. Touch is one of our 5 senses. When we touch things, we usually fill them with the biggest organ in our body, our skin. Let's see, that's 1 down. We've got 4 more to go. We've got touch. What are our other senses? What do we do with our nose? We smell. Smell is another one of our senses. There are lots of different things we can smell. Some of my favorite things to smell are freshly baked chocolate chip cookies and campfire. I love the smell of a campfire. What are some things that you love to smell? Or things that you don't love to smell? That's 2 we've got now, touch and smell. Our sense of smell is connected to another one of our senses. Do you remember which sense that is? Our sense of taste. What do we use to taste? Our tongues. We use our tongues to taste different things. Our tongues are full of tiny little taste buds that let us taste things or know if something is bad for us. All right, we've got touch. We've got smell. We've got taste. 2 more. What do our eyes? Our eyes are another organ in our body. What do our eyes help us do? Our eyes help us see. Sometimes, if we have a hard time seeing, there are special tools we can use to help our eyes work better, called glasses or contact lenses. I wear contact lenses. I sometimes wear glasses. You've seen me wear glasses in some of my videos. But I wear contact lenses for the most part. I'm wearing my lenses today. All right, that's touch, smell, taste, sight or vision. And what's our last one? Oh, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Our last one is hearing. Sometimes people are born deaf, which means that they can't hear. Some of them will choose to stay deaf and to communicate using sign language, where they talk with their hands. And sometimes they will use hearing aids to help them hear better. All right, my friends, we talked about a man with a very complicated name. He has kind of a tricky name to say. It doesn't look like how it's spelled because this man is Dutch. He's from a country called Holland. His name, do you remember it? His name was Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Anton van Leeuwenhoek did not invent the microscope, but he did use microscopes. He made his own microscopes and he used them to discover something very, very important. What was it that he discovered? He discovered very, very itty-bitty living things called bacteria. Bacteria also helped us learn the existence of cells. Now, I have got some pictures up on the board behind me. I've got 4 different pictures, and I know we've talked about all of these things, but I'm not sure I remember what these things are. I know one of these is a cell. Which one of these shows a cell? Which one of those pictures is a picture of a cell? Is it this one? No. This one? What about this one? You've got it. That one is a cell. Cells, I'm going to put this one way at the front of my line because I remember that cells are the basic building blocks of all life. All living things are made up of millions and millions of these itty-bitty structures called cells. They are basic building blocks. I remember we talked about when cells that all have the same job get together in a big group. They form, what do they form? They form tissue. Isn't a tissue something that you blow your nose in? No, we learned another definition for tissue. That's right. Which of these shows tissue of some kind? Is there only one kind of tissue? No, we've got lots of different kinds of tissue that do different things. Connective tissue, muscular tissue, lots of different types. I think I see some muscular tissue. Right here. This one shows our tissue. So we've got our basic building block cells. A large group of cells that all have the same job forms tissues. Tissues create very important things in our body that do different things to help our bodies stay strong and healthy and to help them do specific jobs. They create organs. Here we've got our heart, our stomach, and our lungs. Those are all different types of organs in our body. Those organs work together in groups called systems. This is a picture of our digestive system, which we will talk about in our next lesson. Different systems in our body do different things. We've talked about a couple of them. I know one of them is our skeletal system. Our skeletal system has to do with our skeletons, which are our bones. Without our bones, our skeletal system gives our body structure. Our skeletal system helps our body stand up nice and tall. Without bones, we would just be big blobs. We would just be blobs of our organs and skin. But our skeletons give us shape and structure. We talked about our muscular system, where our muscles in our body work really hard to keep us moving and running strong. We talked a little bit about our nervous system. Now, our nervous system isn't called that because it makes you nervous. Our nervous system is called nervous because it has to do with our nerves. Nerves are those itty-bitty little receptors under your skin, all over your body, that help send messages to your brain. So when you touch something that's too hot and you immediately let go, that's because those receptors in your hand immediately felt that it was too hot and sent a message right to your brain that said, we need to get out of here. We talked about our respiratory system, which helps us breathe in and breathe out. We talked about our circulatory system. So when we get a cut and we start to bleed, the system that keeps that blood moving through our bodies is called our circulatory system. All right, my friends. We've done a lot of reviewing. I think you're ready for a really, really short quiz. All right, my friends, go ahead and open up the PDF that's attached to this assignment. We have got our really, really short quiz and one that's just a little bit longer. Part 1 on that PDF, we have a painting of Mr. Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Underneath our painting, we have 4 statements about him. Some of these statements are not true. Some of them are, but our job is to pick. There is one statement, only one statement, that best describes his very important contribution to science, his very important thing that he did. Your job is to put an X next to the statement that best describes his most important contribution to the world. Our first one says, he invented the microscope. Next one, he wrote a book called Micrographia. Next one, he was the first person to describe bacteria. And the last one, he made cloth from tiny animal hairs. Which of those 4 sentences best describes his most important contribution to the world, especially to science? When you have put an X next to the statement that you believe best describes that, go ahead and scroll down to the next page. This part of our quiz is a little bit longer, but I think you guys are going to do amazing. On this one, this is 2 pages. We have 9 sentences that are missing some words. Our job is to fill in those blanks with the words from this box at the top that make the most sense in that sentence. I will read the words in our box, and I will read each sentence once. If you need to pause to give yourself time to answer, or if you need to go back in the video and re-listen to those sentences, that is totally fine. You can rewind and pause as much as you need to. Let's talk about the words in that box first. We've got the word cells, tissues, organs, systems, function, connective, muscle, epithelial, and nervous. All right, my friends, our first sentence says, the smallest units of human life are called what? Think about those words in our box. Cells, tissues, organs, systems, function, connective, muscle, epithelial, or nervous. The smallest units of human life are called blank. Number 2. Tissues are made up of similar blank. Some of these words, you might not use all of the words in the box. Some of them, you might use more than once. Don't let that trick you. Some of these will be used more than one time, and some of them will not be used at all. Again, number 2, tissues are made up of similar blank. Number 3, organs are made up of blank. Number 4, your heart is one of your most important blank. Five, the tissue that forms the tissue that forms protective barriers is called blank tissue. The tissue that forms protective barriers is called link tissue. Number 6. Blood, bone, and fat are all link tissues. What kind of tissues? On our next page, number 7, body systems are made up of different what? Number 7, body systems are made up of different blank. Number 8, every organ in the body has a special job or blank. Number 8, every organ in the body has a special job or what? Another word for their special job. And number 9, the digestive and excretory blank processes your food and waste. Number 9, the digestive and excretory blank process your food and get rid of waste. Again, friends, if you need to go back and re-listen to any of those statements, please feel free to do so. Remember, some of the words in this box will not be used at all, and some of them will be used more than once. Some of them you might use twice or 3 times, and some you will not use at all. When you have all of those blanks filled in, all of those questions answered, and you've got your sentence marked on our first part, go ahead and turn that one in. And you are all finished with knowledge today. I will see you guys next time.